Hey everybody, welcome on into the Delmarva Sports Insider, the only live and local show dedicated to giving you all local sports. I'm Sports Director Brandon Bossert.
What's up? It's your Philly Sports anchor Devin J. Martin. Welcome into the show. We got a lot to get into tonight. A lot of football, a lot of outdoor sports action. It's starting to get a little chilly, but it's still warm enough where you still want to be outside. And what else is there to do in October except play football?
I was not prepared for tonight. I wore shorts. I wore short sleeves. I was not prepared for the cold. But you know what? It didn't really feel chilly until about the fourth quarter.
Yeah, no, I was good. I had my hoodie on. I had my shorts
on.
Cole
did too. He was prepared. I got to do a better job of that next week. We got to begin with our game of the week, though. The battle of the unbeatens once again sounds just like last week, and again it features the Decatur Seahawks.
Yeah, and after the Seahawks win last week, there's only two more undefeated teams in the entire Bayside. Would the North Carolina Bulldogs be able to clip the Seahawks' wings tonight? It turns out Decatur is actually a lot better than what we thought they were. And we thought they were already really good. Bryson Coleman connects with A.J. Cole for the long touchdown pass to start the scoring, and then he finds Ethan Bradshaw for his second touchdown pass. I mean, look at that. He was airing it out.
Here's Nasai Bell getting a touchdown in the fourth quarter. He had North Carolina's first touchdown of the game to make it 14-7, but that was as close as North Carolina would get. And by that point, when Nasai Bell caught that second touchdown pass, it was too little too late, as Decatur had built up a 44-7 lead after 3 quarters of play, and the running clock was on. I did not expect a running clock tonight.
Yeah, this was something I talked about earlier with our anchor Rob Petrie earlier today when I was previewing DSI, that I'm like, okay, this matchup, obviously Decatur has the advantage, but if Nasai Bell can get out the pocket and make some things happen on offense, it's going to have to be a shootout. That's the only way that they're going to be able to beat Decatur, because I don't see their defense slowing down Decatur's offense. But you can see they only scored 20 points, so North Carolina's offense wasn't strong enough to keep up with the Seahawks. Yeah,
the final score was 44-20 today, but do not let that deceive you. Decatur took their starters out after 3 quarters, and they dominated this game from start to finish. Fireworks on the field and off the field as well.
Yeah, we just stay focused every day, whether it's film, lifting, practice. We're always focused and locked in, and we hold each other accountable. That's the biggest thing.
We are a smaller defense, but our guys can fly, and we really worked hard in the offseason, and guys are constantly lifting. We lift out throughout the week and everything, just keeping our bodies healthy and strong and everything, and, we fly around on defense and pursue the ball.
We just need to keep doing our job every day and hitting those gaps and fixing up little mistakes, and we'll be good.
So I remember being at Berlin last year during the fall when Decatur and North Carolina faced off, and we didn't expect much out of North Carolina, but they put on a really good game. It was a shootout back then last fall between these two teams. Kind of expected it tonight, but man, Decatur is just on another level this year. One more thing to note, Kareem Bolden did suffer an ankle injury tonight for Decatur, spoke with the team. He should be back in a couple of weeks, just in time for the playoffs, so that's great news.
Yeah, that's going to be really big for Decatur's chances of maybe getting back to the state's Final Four, maybe even go even further beyond. They're definitely going to need
At this point, their goal is not the state Final Four. Their goal is championship or bust at this point.
And when you take a big jump, I mean, they lost some players from their senior class last year, but they have all of their core returning this year, and they're looking more explosive than ever. I thought this was going to be a game that North Carolina was going to show the growth that they've had from last season. As you said, they had a pretty good playoff game against them last year in Berlin, but this year was a complete domination in the regular season. We're going to see if these two teams match up in the playoffs in the 2A. We'll have plenty of time to worry about that later down the road.
The thing about games like this is you hate to see blowouts, but it gets exciting when you see a team like Decatur blowing the doors off of everyone, because we have a true championship contender in the 2A in Maryland.
Absolutely, yeah. And they're still flying high right now, so hopefully the Seahawks can do that all the way to the state title for their sakes. Now, we got another 2A battle. This one, Brandon, not as much pedigree as this last game. It's going to be Queen Anne's on the road to face the 1-4 Easton Warriors. The Warriors have been struggling to get W's. They haven't been able to beat any 2A opponents this year. Now, the Lions were up big at halftime, 21-6, but it wasn't that big of a deficit where they could take it easy in the second half. The Warriors have a lot of pride, and those boys are going to play hard, and they did right here on that play. Queen Anne's had a chance to make this a 22-point game early in the third, but Easton's goal line defense was like Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. You shall not pass. The Warriors get the turnover, only down 21-6 with the whole second half to go. They got a chance, Brandon, or so you thought. Immediately after forcing the turnover, the Warriors just give it right back. Hollis Branch comes up with a tip interception. They were tipping that ball like it was hot potato. Ja Roy makes it 28-6 with this Wildcat run. This game was as good as over heading into the fourth quarter. Queen Anne's will go on to win 35-6.
I've never seen Lord of the Rings. I don't get that reference.
You don't? Oh, I don't.
I've never seen Lord of the Rings.
Wow, the only reason I've seen it is because my girlfriend made me watch it last year, and that's the only thing I can remember about that entire franchise. I had to watch it back to back to back, and all I remember is him saying, "You shall not pass."
Here's Kent County and Washington in their game down in Princess Anne. That's Dwan Harris Jr., the quarterback. He's just a freshman, big kid for Kent County. That's a touchdown pass to Jonas Somerville, who is a captain on the team. Washington gets a fumble recovery down near the red zone, but Kent County with a big stop there. Trice Moore, the senior linebacker, and Kent County goes on to win this game 24-14. So the Trojans come down to Princess Anne, and they get a win.
Congrats to the Jaguars, though. 2 touchdowns. That's really good. They were really putting up a fight.
We are seeing the Jaguars make strides this season, getting more players. There's a new attitude down in Princess Anne. Great to see with Washington.
Yeah, that's all because of their new coaching staff. So congrats to them. They're still building on the stepping stones, and I think that they can go even further beyond as the years go. Now, we're going to go to County Stadium back here in Salisbury, the Rams and the Y-High Tribe. Now, this one, not that much offense. Way more defense. The Rams, they did score on the opening kickoff, though. They get a field goal in the third quarter, and that's it. Both teams had a hard time moving the ball, so this was a real defensive battle. But Parkside wins 2 in a row. They take out the Tribe 10-0.
Yeah, 2 hard-fought wins against Easton last week, 14-9, and now this week against their inner-city rival. Brendan Riley told me that he has a young squad this year, and one thing you can always expect from the Rams is they have tough kids and they never quit. And it's great to see Parkside continuing to fight, even though we're in the back 9 of the season. And they have had a losing record this year, but fantastic to see them get another win. All right, some other scores from the Bayside. Cambridge South Dorchester wins over Snow Hill 52-6. That's not an indictment on Snow Hill. To me, that is Cambridge South Dorchester showing that they are a good squad this year. And we had them in the top 5 in the power rankings for the first time this year.
Yeah, they're really good, and they've showed a lot of defensive capabilities as well. Because Snow Hill, they like to air it out. They're one of the few teams in the Bayside that isn't run heavy. They like to throw a lot of
do a spread offense, and they're able to contain that. Colonel Richardson 15, Nandua 21. So they go down to Onley in Virginia and fall by 6. Tomorrow we'll have Bennett at Kent Island. So anything stand out to you in the Bayside this week?
Yeah, I would say probably that Cambridge Snow Hill game. Snow Hill has been a team that they may have had the ability, if I talked about it a couple weeks ago, to challenge Colonel and Cambridge in the 1A, but they faced both of them and lose to both of them, and losing to Cambridge 52-6. You say it's not an indictment on Snow Hill, but I did expect a little bit more from the Eagles to be able to be a little closer with Cambridge if they really want to take that 1A grasp from them.
I think Colonel. Cambridge is a really good team in the 1A North. Let's move over to the Henlopen now. It was a battle of Henlopen North rivals up in Georgetown tonight.
Yeah, it was. It's the Golden Knights, obviously, and Cape Henlopen.
Pretty good game for most of this one.
Yeah, it sure was. And why would it be? Both teams 4-1 in the 3A. Cape Henlopen, I know you weren't too high on them all year because they hadn't been facing
2A teams.
Absolutely.
I got to see what you got against 3A opponents. Let's see what they had tonight.
Yeah, and now, obviously, the Golden Knights, they're trying to get back in the win column against the Vikings from Cape. Now, Central was actually up 14-7, and Cape shutting down the offense, or trying to. Bodie Frederick with a huge stop on 3rd down. But the Central defense would be able to get it right back to Cape. Kevon Moore He stuffs the runner in the backfield, and this game is a defensive battle. Though in the second half, things start to shift. Central would break this game wide open, and Moore Burdell was the one to do it, fighting through the traffic.
That's good hard running.
Runs up the gut, and that's 6 for the night. You can see his breath. You see how cold it is up there. So times they don't want to air it out. They got to run it on the ground to stay warm. And he said he broke the game wide open. He did, and he put the game way out of reach with his another rushing touchdown going down the sideline, and no one's going to catch him. Central gets the W with a dominant win over Cape and a final score of 35-16. So it was 21-16, turns into 35-16 score right
Yeah,
there.
Central able to take command of this game late. All right, now over to Dagsboro. Indian River taking on Brandywine. Big 1A matchup. IR looking to avoid that 3-game losing skid. Indians don't get off to a hot start. David Handy with the keeper, but fumbles the ball, puts it on the floor. Brandywine recovers. They're up 3-0 already. Kristen Wright doesn't need the tush push to get into the end zone. He takes it himself. Bulldogs up 10-0. Can IR bounce back? It's David Handy again. This time, don't have to worry about him fumbling. He's protecting that football. Goes over 60 yards. No one catches him. He stumbles into the end zone to make it a 10-7 game. Unfortunately for IR, though, the Bulldogs would put their foot on the gas late in the second quarter, putting up multiple scores, and IR has now lost 3 straight. I feel like we anointed them as the top Henlopen team in the 1A, and now they've lost 3 straight games, including to Seaford and now to Brandywine, and I don't know what to think about IR.
Yeah,
got to get back to the drawing board at this point.
They also lost to Delmar a few weeks ago, so as you said, they got to kind of right the ship.
That one's more understandable.
Right, but this is the time in the season where you don't want to play your worst ball, you want to play your best ball, or warming up to playing your best ball as it gets colder outside. But we got the oldest football rivalry in Delaware, Laurel Seaford. Both teams wearing their Delmar Strong patches. The Blue Jays taking the field with orange and blue cleats. Big hit in the backfield by Tymir DeShields. Laurel took a 21 lead into halftime, but Seaford's team was not finished. Vince Evans finds James McNeil for the long pass play down the field. The Blue Jays coming to life in the second half, and they make this a 10-point game. But the difference in this game was definitely by the miscues by Seaford. Obviously, they're still a young team. They're trying to work on those different things, and it cost them in this game as they lose by 10. The community wins, though, as half the proceeds at the gate go to help the Figs and Powell families from Delmarva.
Great stuff there. How about a matchup between two 2A schools last night? Woodbridge hosting Milford. Both of these teams 4-1. This is a real show-me game. Where do you stand in the 2A District 3? Jed Bell was the head coach with Woodbridge, now with Milford. He's really turned that program around with the Bucks. Blue Raiders also have turned things around this year. They were 2-8 last year, number 3 in our power rankings this week. This was a battle in the 2A to see who's the top team in the Henlopen in that class. And you know what? Tracy Johnson was an absolute beast in the backfield, 250-plus yards rushing and 3 scores. Woodbridge wins big. They're 5-1, and maybe the biggest thing to take away from this is the fact that Woodbridge's offense is legit, because Milford's defense has been very impressive so far this year, only giving up 30 points in their 4 wins.
But this game really came down to the second quarter. It was an 8-0 score after the first quarter. Woodbridge was up. All those touchdowns from the second quarter. Woodbridge scores 28 points in the second quarter alone, including a fumble recovery on the kickoff to score and an 85-yard kick return touchdown. They were able to show true dominance on the offensive side of the ball, making big impact plays in the second quarter to be able to take the W from Milford.
All right, now let's check some other final scores from around Delaware. All right. Dickinson Rams, baby. 15-14. They beat Early College. They get a dramatic fourth quarter touchdown with a 2-point conversion. And the Dickinson Rams
there you go.
Have now won 2 straight games.
Your Dickinson Rams.
My Dickinson Rams. For the first time since 2014, we have a winning streak.
Oh, yeah, there you go. A 1-point winning streak. You got to take it how you can get it. So congratulations to the Rams.
And Polytech over St. Andrews, 36-14. And we also have a few games coming up tomorrow. Smyrna and Caesar Rodney, Sussex Tech Concord, Dover and St. George's, First State Military Academy at Conrad as well. We will talk about who we think is going to win those games coming up later in DSI. That'll do it for the A block. We're calling our first timeout. When we return, the Wildcats with a very emotional win last night. That's next on DSI.
I'm Gavin Slita with Decatur Football, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.